Hey Blockies, it's Kosi here. We had an awesome podcast with Tommy from Swyftx, and he is the newly appointed head of product. So look guys, this year been crazy good for crypto, and here to break it all down, we have Tommy joining us every month to give us a quick update on what's happening in the crypto market and also what's going on with Swyftx. So we hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, you know where to email us. Email us at hello@blockstars.com.au. Enjoy.
Hey guys, welcome to our Web3 Weekly, episode 71, Kosi.
Hey, time is flying, hey?
Time flies. So, with us today, we've got the head of product. I believe that's a new promotion there, Tommy. If you'd like to just give everyone an introduction about yourself, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys. So head of product at Swyftx. I've been at the company for about 5 years, and I guess ran across a number of different roles, wore a number of different hats as you do in a kind of a startup environment. But my current challenge is the product itself at Swyftx. So really excited for the opportunity to drive it forward and see what we can build over the next couple of years.
Oh, that's interesting, because I remember in like a lot of Australian crypto groups when Swyftx was just starting, and there was a lot of people in like Crypto for Blokes, Crypto Calls Australia, and they're like, "Hey guys, we've got this new exchange sort of starting from the ground up." So you were there from the ground up, Tommy.
Yeah, look, I was in pretty early. I was one of the original clients actually. So I signed up for Swyftx originally, and I just got chatting to Alex, who's one of the main founders, and basically chatting to him in the live chat and giving him some kind of, I guess, ideas and tips on what way we could bring things, or it wasn't we back then, but I guess forwarding on kind of 6 months from that, I ended up coming on in a part-time role and in a full-time role about a year later, and came in as the first employee, first kind of hire at the business. So no money around at the time, not much volume. We launched in a bear market, so it was all pretty quiet. But in hindsight, I guess it turned out to be a good time to launch and get things right and then kind of drive from there.
Cool, awesome. I want to jump into the Bitcoin halvening, right? So you had an awesome time in Brisbane at the Bitcoin halvening. So how was it for you guys in the exchange? Like, there's a lot of hoo-ha, there's a lot of miners, and I mean, like, good on the miners, I mean, like, even though the the rewards got halved, I think miners earned a nice chunk with all the transactions, and good on them. So what impact did it have on you guys, Tommy?
Look, I think a lot of the the old saying, buy the rumor, sell the news, right?
Yes.
We often hear that in all markets, not just digital assets, but I think it was very much the same. We obviously seen a bit of a sell-off just post or just prior to the halving. We seen a bit of a sell-off. I think Bitcoin dipped in price from about the 65 mark US back to about 59 or a little under 60 at least. So I guess for me, it's still quite early, right? We're only just less than a week away from the halving, or a few days after the halving.
We're
recording. So it's really early. It's hard to call right now in market. We're seeing some strength. Bitcoin is, I think, pushing for about 66 back to 66 US as we speak. But I guess, a lot of that price action happened well before the halving. So, it's kind of an event that, we knew was coming. So it doesn't come as a surprise and call that kind of, surprise volatility or like a macro event would call volatility. And, we'd probably touch on a bit of that macro stuff with some terrible things happening with, overseas and speak discussions around World War III, whether you want to label it as that or not, but it's definitely concerning. And while it doesn't directly impact the market, you can't set your watch by it impacting the market. All these geopolitical kind of events always do in some way, shape, or form affect the prices of something, whether it's oil or USD or something like that, which has that knock-on effect to the digital asset space.
Yeah, 100% right. I think even though we say like it's decentralized and it's different from fiat, like you said, Tommy, I think with the current the unstable at the moment, like a lot of people like uncertainty and the interest rates goes up, going up, and a lot of that stuff happening. But still, crypto hasn't been like, we haven't seen that much volatility. When you say crypto, I'm talking about like mainly Bitcoin here. It hasn't seen like huge volatility, like massive. I think, like you said, knowing that it's happening every 4 years, and the ETF, I think now is a little bit more what you call stabilized. Am I right saying that?
Yeah, I mean, if we think about it over 3 to 6 months, I would say yes. But if you look at where even Bitcoin was or Ethereum were, even 12
end of last
12 to 15 months ago, I mean,
yeah,
gonna 3x, right? So while that's not as exciting when you're looking at Solana meme coins, it's still quite a significant period of growth for the asset, and
yeah.
we've rode that wave all the way up. It's true, we haven't seen that blow off top type of event that could come later.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but I think, look, the overall it's kind of playing out like from the scriptures. If you ask me, it's almost tracking exactly as expected. All of the analysts were saying the same things. Usually, when they do that, it goes the other way. But
yes,
this time it's actually played out like almost to a T. They said we were going to have upward volatility in or around the halving. It was going to sell off kind of pre-halving. That's what's happened. I have it in my notes. I am expecting another leg down before we do have a kind of a significant and sustained growth period back up to beat all-time highs again for Bitcoin. A lot of the altcoins have obviously been decimated around this leg down, but I think people are looking at opportunities. But I don't think we're out of the woods just yet in terms of put your house on it, as they say.
Yeah.
Look, depends what your strategy is. Most people that I know that are long-term Bitcoin investors are buying every week. It doesn't matter what the price is kind of sitting at. The long-term view is that we continue on this trajectory for a period of time. We have our 4-year cycles. April 2028 is the next halving. I know we've just had this one, but put it into your calendar now, guys. But yeah. Look, it's one of those things that we there's no surety around any asset, but I think the fundamentals, the halving of the event, the scarcity that the halving event creates, and the willingness for these miners to continue, it kind of speaks in spades, and I haven't even talked about the ETFs that have been approved.
Yes.
I think one of the least understood facts around the ETFs is, while we've had this significant growth and the numbers look great, the Bitcoin ETF launch has been the most successful ETF in history, right? Trouncing gold after about 4 weeks. So, and that's big. That's big news on its own. But the fact of the matter is, the likes of your Vanguards and these guys, they still can't get access to the funds. They still can't actually, they're the biggest asset managers in the world. They still can't tell their advisors, their employees, and their clients to get access to crypto yet, because they haven't finished their DD process. They're still vetting it as an investment vehicle. So I guess what I'm trying to get to is, we're probably at 30% max of the allocation that even these investment managers can get to. What do we look like at 50%? What do we look like at 70% and 80%? It's my view that it'll be still a relatively small portion of their even, but I think 5 to 10% for the more alternative or the more risk appetite type of investor profile is a reasonable place to be. And that news in itself, or that fact in itself, kind of excites me around what possibilities could be with the Bitcoin price in future.
Are you looking to integrate your business systems with cutting-edge AI technology? Our expert team is here to help you use the power of AI to innovate, streamline, and enhance your current business operations. Contact us today at 1-800-870 200 or visit blockstars.com.au.
Oh man, it's just like it's crazy when you think about it, right? Like, I don't know, in my lifetime I ever noticed. I don't know. Again, like as a teenager, you don't really think of these type of things anyway, right? But you haven't really seen anything like an asset class like this really come on board. I think this is the first time, like, being digital, and there are so many, like, the what do you call, the physical aspects now. It's in the digital world. I think this is the first time. So I think it's like for the first time, with the gold, we had gold, we have all precious metals and all sort of things. But in the digital world, we really still only have Bitcoin. Am I right? I heard that I believe Monochrome was looking at going for Australia's first ETF as well.
Yeah, that's right. I'm actually quite friendly with Jeff Yu, who's the founder of that business. He's a Brisbane-based guy as well.
Yeah.
We actually caught up at the Bitcoin halving events last week. And yeah, look, I don't know if I'm breaking news here, but I know he reckons that the first half of this year they're looking good for a spot Bitcoin ETF launch on CBOE, so not on ASX, but CBOE. So yeah, it's huge news for Australia. Like,
Exactly.
It seems like almost like a fast follow on the US for once, which is pretty good. Jeff and the guys and his team at Monochrome have been working on that product for years. It's not that popular in the bear market like everything else. None of us are. We struggle for friends and to go out for the bear market, but when it changes, it's that interest comes back in spades, and it's probably a good time for a product like that to come to market. Something that we've always been keen on the Swyftx side is that marriage between traditional finance and the crypto world, but then in Australia you have the superannuation funds, which are it's about, I think it's about a 9 trillion. I have a stat here I can throw out.
Yeah,
you want to come back to me, but it's a very, the opportunity is great, and I think the ETF in Australia will work. I think it's a product that will be well received in the market here.
No, that's, I think, when it comes to ETFs, we are still sort of I would say myself, I'm still getting my head around what is an ETF. I was never an investor when it comes to ETFs mainly, and I just stuck with my super, and now in crypto side, okay, like I get to learn a little bit more about finance side. Never knew about it, but now I got to, So
that on that stat, Kazi, I did get it up on my other screen. I don't like stats on the table, but 3.4 trillion is what the superannuation market is estimated to be. And of that, about 900 billion is in the self-managed super fund space. So yeah, I guess there's an expectation that a lot of those SMSF holders are starting to look at, they have to buy spot Bitcoin on an exchange like Swyftx if they weren't, or look at products like Monochrome are with the ETF. So yeah, I'm definitely expecting that allocation to digital assets in Australia specifically to grow, over the next few years.
Yeah, and I think it's becoming more widely adopted. Like I was surprised this time around over the last few weeks, seeing that like 9 News and Gold Coast Bulletin talking about the Bitcoin halving, like the once in a 4-year miracle. I'm like, oh well, now it's really getting out there and educating people. They'll be, what is this?
Yes.
Start reading and be like, I understand it a bit more now. So yeah,
it's getting there.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to go into the 9 studios, and I don't know if you guys seen, but Pat Fundell, who's our lead market analyst, he was on Sky News actually talking about the halving just a few days ago. So it's
all right.
It's getting that mainstream feel, which is I think they're late. If they're only coming in now, they're late. But one of the reasons I guess I got involved in crypto is that it's an asset class that really levels the playing field. We've had what, call it 13 or 14 years of opportunity before your large investors, before your institutions can actually get access to the investment class, from at least from a regulated standpoint. So
yeah,
I mean, it really, one of the things you'll hear people saying now is it's too expensive. We're already hearing it. Even just educating these mainstream media to the fact that you can buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, you can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, $50 worth of Bitcoin. You don't have to go and spend, I think it's 100 and something thousand Australian just to get exposure. You can actually start with much lesser allocations. So even just that small things like that go quite unnoticed or misunderstood in the market when they look at these types of investment classes.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was at a barbecue last weekend, and I said I said, this Bitcoin is too expensive. I'm like, look, okay, tell me why. Like, who has money to buy a Bitcoin? Like, it's like 100 something thousand, zeros. I can show you. I can buy like $50 worth of Bitcoin. Like, how do you do that? And I think what you said is exactly that. People think like I had to buy the whole Bitcoin.
Right.
As the market said, okay, it's like buying a dollar type of thing. So,
yep.
No, that's all good. Hey, Tommy, I just want to touch, go a little bit about like your new role. So, head of product, right? And that's a huge role, man, right? Because market is your client, right? And you go straight to the market. There's no hiding behind. And so how did you, I don't think it's just luck that hey, Tommy woke up one day and they're like, I'm going to be head of product. So there's a bit of a step in there. And what made you want to go to this space? Is it your passion that you want to work with the more like the front facing, or what? How did it all started, and how did you go about?
Yeah, what a loaded question. I might need a beer for this one, but no, look, I've been kind of quite passionate about crypto just as a hobbyist investor before I joined Swyftx, and well before I started getting quote unquote serious in the space. But yeah, I guess it's a lot of people go to their jobs, and I did it myself for years. You go to your job every day, 9 to 5, and you hate it, right? A lot of people hate their jobs. It's an unfortunate reality that for a lot of people. And if something comes up in your life, an opportunity comes up in your life to go and attack something or take on a challenge that you don't hate,
yes,
I think everyone should try and go for that. Of course, everyone's situation is differently. The stars just aligned for me at the right time. I'll be honest, and I know a lot of people that were probably much better than me and even more invested in the space, that just it just didn't work out for them at the right time, and they kind of continued on the path. And I guess there's an element of risk as well. So I was happy to kind of take on that risk at the time and go work for a very low salary considering where I came from, in well-paid job as a project manager in Melbourne. And that was my risk, right? So that was the bet that I took on the market, and I took on Swyftx as a business, because what really drew me in is the passion and the I guess the strategic vision of Swyftx as well. Like we're only I like to tell people we're not even one third of the way, 1/4 of the way of where we want to go, right, as a business. And some people think, because your brand is in market and you've got a lot of customers, that you're kind of done and you're finished. It's like we haven't even scratched the surface, from my opinion. So that in itself is what excites me to go to work every day. We all have good days, we have bad days, we have shit times in the market that we have to deal with, part of life. But I guess what underpins everything is I do get excited still about going to the job, working on a new product, working with people. And I feel very fortunate, and I'm very grateful that is the case. And I've had the opportunity to go and do this, because a lot of people maybe listening to this, or people that follow us across, they're working that 9 to 5, or they're doing that grind that they have to do. It's not an opportunity that everybody gets. So I guess that's what drives me, because that's why I'm very fortunate in terms of the product role itself. I think product, while I didn't actually know myself at the time that it was the product that I was speaking about to Alex when I came into him, I was like, we should look at building this, we should build out this, that, and this would be cool if we could do this. Like I had those ideas and I guess that vision early on. So I kind of it's taken me almost 5 years to get into this this seat that I'm in now, Swyftx. So they bloody made me earn it, I can tell you that much.
Well, you value it more now, you know how hard it was,
Yeah, that's right. It was the right path for me to take, and I've built that experience with Swyftx, and I'm very grateful, to that to Alex and everyone involved for that opportunity as well. It's they've definitely helped mold me into the person I am, and I just want to continue giving back to Swyftx. And I mean, look, when you work on customer facing products, it's the most exciting thing you can do, right? You build something, you ideate something, you round it out in terms of a plan, you bring it to engineers, you build it, you've got a marketing behind you, you've got all these resources behind you to go and launch into a client base now of almost 800,000. Like that's
pretty cool, man.
That's a big deal for me, and it's something that really excites me and us at the Swyftx side. So I can't see myself losing passion for that kind of opportunity anytime soon.
No. That's awesome. Hey, so that means you get to work with a lot more developers, right? I mean, like, we are pretty much majority developers here, and then we got the other departments, like you mentioned, marketing, and you got the testers and all that. But mainly at Blockstars, we are like a core development.
Yeah.
So, what is your day look like with the? Do you really communicate with the dev teams, or do you really level up and you talk with the leads of each department to bring your or spread your idea or your plans?
Oh man, I'm absolutely in the trenches. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, good man.
We don't really run we have our executive management team, which I'm part of at Swyftx, but we're all sitting together. There's no ivory towers at Swyftx, right? Like we've always been an open and transparent business, and that's how we kind of do things, inside and out. So, the customer kind of sits in the middle, and we listen to what the customer wants, and we use as much of that as possible to help drive what our product strategy and our company strategy should be, while maintaining and trying to build on that growth that we have, seen over the years. But yeah, man, my typical day is, we do a kind of a hybrid model where we work from the office. I work from the office 3 days a week and 2 days from home, which is really, really great flexibility to have. But man, I'm in the office. We're running stand-ups. We have kickoff meetings. So I'm still writing PRDs and TED plans and user stories for the products that we're building. Like that's absolutely on us. We do run quite a small product team at the moment. So I'm actually hiring a product manager at the moment, and probably 2 or 3 over the next kind of 12 months to help bolster that side of the business. But yeah, at the moment, absolutely across kind of every nut and bolt that's happening, and trying to kind of sanitize that and break it down to communicate with the rest of the business, and our EMT, our executive management team, is the main kind of remit of my job at the moment.
That's cool, man. I just want to talk about a little bit about sort of the markets with you, Tommy. You guys got the first what we call insights into the markets, right? We're just looking at graphs, but you guys are one who generate graphs, right? So from what you have seen, say the first quarter, what are the chains, or what are the most popular chains that you guys see on your side that are really like onboarding users or more transaction volumes? Can I call it?
Yeah. Look, I actually posted. I don't know if you see my LinkedIn, but I actually posted yesterday on my LinkedIn around the most used chains. I think Solana was like 7 or 8x from the next competitor. I've got a graph I can share with you guys after, but
if it really worked, that could be really crazy good, doing it.
Yeah, and actually somebody called me out and said that Hedera Hashgraph, which is a hash itself, not necessarily classified as a blockchain.
Right? Yes, but that's technical.
That's doing much more than that. Again, I don't want to blow people's minds now getting into the technicals of that, but it's look, I think the whole hype around the Solana meme coins has obviously been a key driver of trade volume and network usage. So that would I'd say that would be the number one in terms of transactions. Ethereum's still pretty high up there, and Bitcoin in as well. They're kind of the 3 top chains that are kind of working. I would say when you look at the market growth overall, they're also the assets that are, you can kind of correlate the assets that have had the most growth in terms of price action as well to look, I can say that I don't think Bitcoin has been knocked off our top volume traded asset for years. So I know we do kind of put quite a focus around Bitcoin because it is such a pure asset. And
Of course.
I've talked to you about this before, Kazi. Like while I invest in altcoins and I do trade and I have some altcoins that I build positions in, kind of medium term. Bitcoin's the long asset. Ethereum's the long asset. The altcoins are tools for investing for me. So it is, and it's generally about obtaining more Bitcoin and more Ethereum. When I think about the altcoins and how you trade them, I'll trade WIF, I'll trade Pepe, I'll trade anything. It's not, I don't have an emotional attachment to any investment. Maybe Bitcoin a little bit, to be honest. But
Yes. I think everyone has a little bit of emotional attachment to Bitcoin, isn't it?
That's right. But it's, I guess that's those trends are kind of playing out across any exchange or platform that are measuring those metrics and volumes.
Yeah.
On that one, Tommy, with the being head of product now at Swyftx, what are your main features when you're looking at, like, what are those key points you're looking at from your side to increase the customer base on Swyftx, and maybe if there's Swyftx, and maybe if there's a bit of alpha in there, a little bit of early alpha on something, if that's possible.
Look, what can I say? What can I actually say? I'm just trying to think. Look, I guess a key area of focus for me is everyday use case. So, you can trade every day if you want, but most people don't. And we probably wouldn't want people trading every single day. I think where the evolution of our app comes in is where you can actually do more than just trade on it. There's a number of things you can do around payments, the reward space, different type of investing vehicles. I'm kind of happy to share that we are pretty significantly progressed in our AFSL application. So we're doing things right. We're taking our time and going a bit slower, I guess, with a lot of these things. But there's a number of products once that AFSL comes through. There's a number of products on my desk, I guess, that we are ideating right now that you guys will see in future. But it's I don't know if it's alpha more specifically, but I've always wanted the Swyftx app to do more than just trade and be an asset that you can, or be an app that you can use every day, and you have good reason to use it every day, and it actually benefits people to use it every day, and not, there's a lot of apps that give you this functionality, but it's actually at quite a disadvantage to the user. So there's a number of products that I have in the top of my lip now that I won't say right now. We're investigating. Look, at the end of the day, for me, it always comes back to, I'm building products for myself. So what you see coming through Swyftx is generally, and I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner here. It's a team effort. We all do it together, and it's part of our strategy. But at the end of the day, I want to build products that I want to use myself that benefit me, because I know how to use them and because I've been on board to those products, and there's a strong reason for me to use them. Financially beneficial is what I mean. So that's not where a lot of products start. And I'll be honest, we're a for-profit business. We got to make money, right? I'm never shy away from that fact. A lot of people try to fluff about and say, we're the good of humanity, and yes, all that stuff's great, and you want to do things right, you want to have your principles and your morals correct, and we absolutely have that in spades at our side. But at the end of the day, we're a business that needs to make revenue, and if we continue to make revenue, it's better for our customers as well. So that's kind of a point that I never shy away from when I'm doing these kind of, having these conversations with anyone. And the people that do try and flip the other narrative, the whole, we're doing this out of the goodness of our hearts narrative, they're the people I don't trust, if I'm being honest. So it's I don't know if you guys got the answer that you were looking for there, but it's at the end of the day, it's those products will reflect benefit to users, and we want to be around kind of long term to prove out that they will have benefits.
Are you planning to launch a blockchain project? At Blockstars, we specialize in developing blockchain projects from your initial idea to the final product. To launch your successful blockchain project, drop us an email to hello@blockstars.com.au.
Awesome. Thanks for that, man.
Tommy, you guys are at the moment like really Australia focused. Have you guys got like an international arm as well, or do you see any inflow traffic from international traders, or is it mainly like, is it like 90-10, or is it a 60-40, or what does it look like? Does international traders use Aussie platforms? Like we use Coinbase, we use Binance.com and all those things.
No, we only onboard Australian citizens Australian residents and New Zealand residents at the moment. Breakdown there is about 90-10, I would say, 90% Australian. So our primary market is Australia. New Zealand's a market that I have on the top of my list in terms of us trying to obtain growth in that market. You would have seen Binance have been on pretty heavy in that market.
Yes.
A lot of work there now. Ben Rose from Binance is the head of country for them. He's a Kiwi guy, and speaking to him at that event the other night, they've been doing really, really good things in that market, and it's a market that isn't as saturated as Australia. It's definitely we are trading in there, but a lot of issues around banking infrastructure in New Zealand. They're not as up to date as Australia, even though Australia cops some shit for the banks and the restrictions they're putting in, but at least we have the likes of NPP and it's kind of instantaneous transfer infrastructure, whereas in New Zealand it's still all working very, very much like a Swift type of transfers. They're all quite slow and take some time. So look, the New Zealand market is one that we will do more work in, I would say, in 2024. The global arm question, we have a separate kind of body of work that we are looking at to globalize Swyftx.
Yeah.
It's I guess as of right now, it's something that we're just taking our time in. We're learning about what the best markets are to go into. We're not going to rush it. Primary focus is to service, and we see massive opportunity. I just spoke about the self-managed super fund opportunity within Australia as a key driver for us. That type of client is something that we have identified as quite lucrative client, and Swyftx is kind of the default go-to now for setting up an entity account. So we've put a lot of engineering work into our onboarding flow. I think you can set up an entity account now in same day setup of an entity if you have your documentation ready. So that's coming along nicely. We're going to continue to do work in that space, and our main focus is going to be on that Australian, New Zealand market, kind of at least for the next 12 months. But there's a separate body of work happening in the internationalization kind of front.
No, that's awesome. Mate, before we finish off, I just want to have one last question. What is your outlook for the market from the data that you guys have? Don't tell me like, oh, we're not sure. You guys have all the data. Come on, spill some beans here. Not financial advice, but more like I would like to know, like whether it's like we are talking about layer 1s, layer 2s, and people talk about layer 3s, Ethereum, the Solanas, and if we move Bitcoin and Ethereum aside, what are the things that you are seeing like from your side of
I think
the gold nuggets?
The main drivers, I think we are about 40% of the way through a bull market. I think that's my kind of if I was to map it out right now in terms of that 4-year cycle, I think we're probably between 40 and 50% of the way through. I do think we see a similar correction to what we've seen recently, that 15 to 20% from where we are now. I think we could very well see that. I'm not bothered if we don't, but that's what I would be keeping some dry powder for, as you will, if we were to go back. But I think from there, your buy pressure is going to be significant. I kind of had said, I guess I don't know if I'm saying it or if I'm hoping it happens, but a drop down to the kind of mid 40s on the Bitcoin price is something. And I know you're asking me about aside from Bitcoin and ETH, but that's what's going to dictate what happens. Yeah. You touched on tokenization of real world assets. We've got some teams playing out I think the Bitcoin ordinals piece is a pretty interesting one as well for people to keep an eye on. We had layer 1s, we had layer 2s, now we have layer 3s. We're going to have layer 4s and layer 5s. Like, how high can you go with these?
Yeah.
There's going to be things that we don't even know about a year from now popping up, and that's the beauty of this space. But I guess I do struggle, and I am reluctant to talk about growth of altcoins, but I think they will absolutely follow. And I think there are a basket of altcoins kind of within that top 20 that people are looking for opportunity. And as Bitcoin price goes down, obviously, everything else corrects more significantly with it.
Yes.
People are building their stacks for those, on those, those kind of longer term investments people have conviction on. So I think we probably see a bit of a chop around these prices for a few weeks and months, kind of before we see another leg up, a significant leg up. But and then with the caveat that we could see a bit of a stronger correction along there. That's kind of what I'm looking for at the moment, at least. But I guess one of the looking ahead to the rest of this year, the Ethereum ETF is one that I'm really intrigued and interested in. We won't see it next month, which I think was the initial date. But I think we have a good chance of getting that approved in 2024, which would be obviously a significant news event. Just looking at the market caps alone, and the potential volume that might come in there. I always said that I thought Ethereum, because it is proof of stake, and it has that kind of naturally occurring dividend, if you will.
Yes,
is a perfect ETF type of product. So I do believe we'd see significant kind of inflows for a product like that if it comes, spot out of the US first. Who knows? But I think at a worst case scenario, I think we definitely this time next year we definitely see a product like that tracking in market. The biggest asset managers are pushing for it. They generally get what they want. They're happy to make adjustments as needed with these products. And that's probably the most significant of the next North Stars, if you will, for market volatility. But if we're 40% through this cycle, what the next 60% could be, a very exciting time for everyone involved.
Yeah. Have you got onto runes yet or no?
It's on my desk. I'm doing a bit of research into it at the moment. I had a few people reach out to me recently asking me if I could have a look at it and see what my high level kind of thoughts were, and I have it on my desk. I need to hand it off to Pav because he's the primary analyst at the moment and has a bit more time to spend on these. But it's definitely one to watch. I know that a lot of the big Bitcoin purists, Bitcoin maxis are not too happy about the congestion and fees are going up and everything else. So that's just part of it. I think it doesn't detract from the value add of the hardness of the asset and the scarcity of the asset itself. Once that doesn't happen, I think we still keep it kind of that kind of shining light to drive everything else forward. But I will leave you guys with one piece of alpha.
Yes, please.
So Swyftx will be rolling out a rebrand next week. So it's been about 2 years in the making. We've gone over and back on a lot of different things. So keep an eye on the platform, keep an eye on our kind of socials and everything else. I'm very excited to roll that out. It's a really nice modernization and kind of facelift on our current brand. We haven't touched our brand since we launched 5 years ago or so. So it was due a refresh of we were looking to do for a while. So I might have some merch for you guys the next time we're turn up as well. So that's what.
Very nice.
Everybody loves a bit of crypto merch, so
isn't it? It's fine. Like when I do gardening, I just wear crypto stuff, and my neighbor's like, "Oh my god, you got like all these different." They're like, "Yeah." Promoting everyone at the moment. My neighborhood. Awesome, Tommy. Thank you so much again for your time and giving a little bit of market outlook for us and for the community. On that note, Tommy, all the best with your new position, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, gents. Appreciate it.